Bob's not even here.
We have 9 o'clock.
Yes, we do.
All right, good morning, everybody. Calling the board meeting of January 4th, 2022 to order. At this time, I will ask for the election of a chairperson of the board for the upcoming year.
I will make a motion to have Chris Hewsome as her last year be board chair.
I'll second.
Serious?
All right, I have a motion by Delyden to make Chris Hewsome board chair for 2022, seconded by Commissioner Wetter. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I kind of abstained.
None? This time, I will then pass the gavel officially to Commissioner Hewsome.
Here you go. I warmed it up for you.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Did she get the button too?
I-
No.
I got the no button, and I'm ready to go. All right. Well, we had such an uneventful year in 2020 the last time I was chair, so we'll see what happens this year. So we did not yet stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, but do we need to elect, do we do that or vice president?
Let's do the pledge at the direction of the chair.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag
of the United
States of America
and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Now we can get down to business.
This is confusing.
Oh, thank you, yes. All right. So we'll get back to the board reorganization, and I will look for a motion to appoint a vice chair.
I'll make a motion to appoint Derek Vetch vice chair for the 22 year.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Delyden.
Second.
We got a double
Pick your
second, but we'll go with Commissioner Ketchmark on the second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion carries unanimous. So the next one is to transfer back any unused funds in the county attorney's contingency fund, the sheriff's contingency fund, and the incidental fund to the general revenue fund.
I'll make a motion to approve the amounts,
All the funds?
all the funds for the year.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Delyden. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Wetter. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. And the next one is to recall any unused clerk hire and unused budgets for 2021.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Delyden. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Ketchmark. Or any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Now, looking for a motion to set the 2022 county board sessions as listed below. And those are the regular sessions, all Tuesdays except the second Tuesday of the month. The meeting shall be called to order at 9 a.m. and the county board workshops are the second Tuesday of the month. The meeting shall start at 9 a.m. Is there a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Delyden, second by Commissioner Wetter. Discussion?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
there's still interest from the constituents on having a night meeting occasionally, so I'm going to vote no on the motion,
Okay.
and that's why.
And thank you. We appreciate that. We've, this has been something that's come up since Commissioner Delyden and I have been on the board, and we had discussions, and in the past, when they tried that, they just have not had the participation to continue, and also it does involve a different kind of shifting staff in their times, so but thank you for making that comment and for voicing those opinions. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, now we have,
Opposed?
oh, I'm sorry. Opposed?
Aye.
All right, thank you. All right. Do we are missing Commissioner Fetch this morning, so we're okay with going through. Do we need to make any changes to the existing budget, or excuse me, advisory committee?
Madam Chair,
Yes. Commissioner
can we
Lane.
postpone the committees and advisory boards until all 5 commissioners are here?
That's
Make
that's
a motion.
appropriate.
I'll make a motion
I'll
to.
second it.
All right. Motion made by Commissioner Delyden, seconded by Commissioner Ketchmark to postpone the setting all these committees. So, and any committees that we have this week, I guess we will just
Continue.
continue with the ones that we're currently serving on. So I know I have committee meetings that I will go to. All right. We'll postpone that. So moving on to the minutes from our county board meeting on December 28th. Does anyone have any questions, comments on that?
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes.
All right.
I'll second.
Moved by Commissioner Lyden, seconded by Commissioner Wetter. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Review and approval of the agenda. Anything that needs to be pulled,
Madam Chair,
changed?
um,
Lyden.
regarding the ordinance on the solar energy system
Okay,
and action on the ordinance amendment. Since Commissioner Vetch is not here and he was, him and Commissioner Ketchmark were both heavily involved in this, I'd like to postpone that into another day, probably the 3rd Tuesday of January. So I'd make a motion to pull that.
I'll second that.
motion made by Commissioner Delyden, seconded by Commissioner Ketchmark to postpone that. And I guess we have not kind of decided we could postpone the county workshop too, perhaps switch those days if we wanted to meet next Tuesday.
Yeah, I'd rather wait and just do it on the 3rd Tuesday.
Okay.
And that way we know for sure. Hopefully everybody will be healthy.
Yep, okay, we'll all be in attendance. All right,
Better odds.
okay. Any more discussion on that? Okay, motion is to pull the ordinance, solar ordinance item till the 3rd Tuesday.
We need to vote on that?
Yep, we need to vote on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Carries unanimously. All right, thank you. All right. Consent agenda. Is there anything that needs to be, you'd like to pull for further discussion?
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Ketchmark?
Letter A, number 2, for discussion on the replacement for the facilities maintenance technician. And then under letter C, number 2, some discussion over the donation process with the vacation to someone's sick bank.
All right. A motion to approve the rest of the consent agenda with those items pulled?
I'll make that motion.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Ketchmark,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Wetter. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Commissioner Ketchmark?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So regarding approve the replacement for the vacant facilities maintenance technician, and Alan did a good explanation on the form there. I just had a little further question. If we're gonna be moving and consolidating buildings within less than 2 months, hopefully. And we had agreed that we were gonna look at the cleaning contract when we move to the new buildings. And since we contract cleaning and snow plow and lawn service and window cleaning, that it might be a good idea to hold off on this spot until we get adjusted into the new building, since it's in a short time, and evaluate our need at that time.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Commissioner Glyden.
I think since this person is actually for maintenance, really has nothing to do with the cleaning contract. And we've also assigned all the different buildings throughout the county to buildings, or facilities management. I think that this person would still need to be provided to do the job with all our different buildings. I don't know how many people he has, but my guess is if he didn't need it, he wouldn't ask for it. So I see here it's staff of 15 plus 1 vacant. So they're serving 16 facilities, and they're providing electrical and HVAC service to parks locations too. So you add all those additional buildings on, there's quite a bit that needs to be done. So I think that person replacement should be filled.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Ketchmark?
And thanks, Commissioner Delay. And I was also comparing, we're going into new buildings versus old, where these guys are gonna spend less time hopefully trapping mice and stopping leaks in the roofs, hopefully. So with the new facility, I would think that maybe there'll be less maintenance, especially at the beginning, because we're in new buildings.
Well,
Mr. Chair.
yes.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry. I would disagree with that, because when you move into a new building, there's a lot of little things that need fixing that weren't seen to begin with. And I would think they'd even be more needed right in the beginning.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Wetter, and that certainly has proven true when they moved into the Justice Center, and there was lots of tweaks that needed to be done. I mean, some heating issues and that kind of thing. So there are a lot of details that we just don't know what's going to come up. So I would agree with the other two commissioners on this.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion to approve that replacement.
All right, motion by Commissioner Ketchmark,
I'll second it.
second by Commissioner Delyden. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. The second item.
Yes, under administration, the request for donation of vacation or PTO time for an employee. And my question is, and other employees have brought this up, is we have some employees that have PTO, and one question is, do folks with PTO have a catastrophic sick bank, employees?
They could if they've achieved enough time to carry over.
Oh, so they have that same bank as the other employees that have vacation separate from sick time?
Correct.
Okay. And,
Well, there is no longer any sick time, though.
Well, if you have PTO, it covers
Well,
both.
depending on which union, though,
What
right?
union you're in.
Correct.
Yep.
You do have some, Ms. Jarris, you do have some unions that still are on the sick and vacation, which have those separate, and then you do have the remainder of the units on PTO. If you do hit that maximum accrual, you can earn still in that catastrophic or extended sick leave bank at a lesser rate than you would accrue other benefit leave, so.
so it seems like the PTO folks have an advantage because their time is all lumped together, and the other employees are forced, if they're gonna donate time, it has to come from their vacation. And in the past, and I don't know how many years this goes back, but it was like a split time, which I would be in favor of now if we're able to readdress this on a whole for the unions that it does affect. But you would donate, let's say you want to donate 8 hours to the person, 4 would be vacation and 4 would be sick. That seems like that would be more consistent with the folks, the majority of the employees that are working with a PTO bank. Is that something that we can address at the board? Do we need all the union stewards involved, or when would be the right time for that? And I see it happening more regular with the illnesses and things that are going across the county. Almost every other week or so I see it, so it's probably not gonna get to be any less.
Sure.
I think that's a good point, and I think that probably needs to be sent to personnel to meet with the unions to make that change. It's been that way for at least the 9 years that Commissioner Delyden and I have been on the board. It hasn't come up in personnel committees or, during negotiations at all, because it was just something that's been set. So I don't know if Attorney Kreiser wants to weigh in on this or not, but that would be.
Madam Chair, I do note Sean Johnson does have his hand up
Okay,
on the
Sean,
online.
thank you. Hi, Sean. You have
good morning,
you have comment?
Yes, a little more information. Basically, anytime you set up an agreement for donations, that has to be approved by the union groups before we proceed. Typically, what I hear is the union groups would rather have them tap into their PTO or vacation before they even touch the sick leave, because typically people have more vacation than they do sick leave.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Did I hear you right, that you thought, Sean, that the feeling from the employees was that they wanted to tap their vacation to donate first?
That has always been the direction given by the unions, because anytime we do a donation, that requires an MOA with the unions, and that's how their union representative would prefer it.
Okay, well, if it hasn't been addressed in several years, I've had employees that brought it up to me, so if we can put it on, and since this year is a contract year when we're gonna be looking at these things, I think it's a good
Commissioners,
time.
I would advise any staff members to go to their union rep if they have an issue with how we handle the donations, and then they can contact me if they'd like to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Well, is it within the realm of the board to take this on as a matter and bring it to the personnel committee instead?
Well,
I would consider this to be a union matter that they should bring to our attention.
yeah, the unions would have to make that decision, so they'd have to talk to their union reps and have a discussion with their union.
Okay,
We can't dictate what the unions want to do.
No.
okay, I didn't know if they'd be in on the conversation in personnel or not, if
Yeah.
that came to that
Yeah.
committee.
I didn't know either if we can, as a personnel committee, meet with the unions, but it sounds like
Well, we
Sean has.
could, but I'd say we better off letting the employees
Right.
talk to their unions first to decide.
Okay, well, I had to start somewhere, so
Yep.
I'll spread the word and
Okay.
let it go that route. So I'll make a motion to approve number 2 with the authorization to donate the time to social worker Mindy Watson.
I'll second it.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Ketchmark, second by Commissioner Delyden to approve C2. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Motion carries. So now on to the timed agendas. And we have a special person here. So, Mr. Tom Sokowski, you're,
Madam Chair, before I start that, I want to take this opportunity to thank the board for allowing me to serve Wright County once again and join Terry, and I get to retire twice from this place, and that's a rare honor. Now that we know who the new zoning administrator is, and in the spirit of the holidays and Festivus, I'd like to just very briefly offer up that my children gave me a present for Christmas, and there's a tradition. They know I'm a Seinfeld fan, and there's a tradition of regifting. What they gave me was a button that when you push it, you hear Frank Costanza yell, "Serenity now." Many of you may not know what that's all about, but those of us who follow Seinfeld do, and it occurred to me that Barry's going to need this a lot more than I do over the next couple of years, so I wanted to congratulate him and offer him the Serenity Now button. Now for the important stuff.
Serenity now.
I'll do the easy part first and read the plaque, I think. Terry Piram, January 16th, 1981 to January 7th, 2022, in appreciation of dedicated service to the Wright County Planning and Zoning Department and the citizens of Wright County. I can't believe those dates. I know I conveyed to you a story about Terry's hiring the other day and what a simpler time it was in Wright County. And now that I look at this and look at Terry, I got to believe there were no child labor laws, and she must have been 15 when we hired her here. I can't understand that.
I'd say about 4.
Some of you know that I'm capable of long-winded, passionate speeches, and in fact, the last time I came here to talk, Commissioner Delighten kept trying to cut me off, as I recall. And it was a night meeting, and I probably deserved it. But I want to make it clear I'm not going to do that today. It's only one sheet, and it's large print, so bear with me. The thing is, if I were to give that long speech that Terry truly deserves, I would end up crying, and nobody wants to see that, trust me.
Oh, yeah.
It says a lot about Terry that I had to beg her to come here today to receive this honor. I had to promise her she would not have to speak. So I will take a couple minutes, please, to speak on her behalf. Commissioner Cashmark got me thinking the other day when he pulled something off the consent agenda. And he said that a constituent had asked him who was running the courthouse, the commissioners or the staff. And Mike's reaction was the same as mine would be in his shoes, which would be to point out that, of course, it's the county board that's in charge. But as I thought about it, it occurred to me that another reasonable response could have been to tell that constituent that we kind of hope the staff are running the place because that's what we're paying them for, after all. And there's a difference between being in charge and keeping something running, and that's what brings me back to Terry. While I was in charge of the Planning and Zoning Department, it was Terry who was doing a masterful job quietly behind the scenes of keeping the place running. She made sure the bills got paid. She made sure that critical deadlines for hearings and meetings got met. She let me know when staff conflicts needed to be addressed. She oversaw the preparation of thousands of critical documents that government work requires be not only timely, but 100% accurate. She maintained relationships with our township clerks, who we work with quite often, and she performed countless other tasks along the way, most of which I probably didn't even know she was getting done half the time. As I said, Terry kept the place running. She did it with all the calm confidence that has inspired everyone who ever worked for her and with her, and which proved most valuable during this last very difficult year of employment for Terry. Terry made me a better person. She made the P&Z office a better place to work. She made Wright County government a better organization. And with the work she did and the people she supported, Terry made Wright County a better place to live. We are all in her debt. I'm going to speak for all of the current and past county boards, planning commission members, boards of adjustment, staff, and all the people of Wright County when I say, Terry, thank you for your service. May you and Mike enjoy a long, healthy, happy retirement together. God bless.
tell Tom I'm not a public speaker, and I don't like getting in public and speaking. But I do want to take this opportunity to thank Tom for taking the chance, some 40 years on me. It's been a great career. I've had great staff to work with. I'm surprised to see here today to share this moment with me. On with thanking my wonderful husband who supported me. My 3 children made it today, which is a really nice surprise. And I hope the county board can continue to support our office and the important work we do. I always felt like we were a small part of making the community of Wright County a better place, both in safety, supporting and protecting our environment, protecting the public safety, and planning. I think that's why people want to move here, is a great place to live and raise a family. So thank you so much for the 40 years and supporting me and my office. And thank you, Tom. Welcome, Barry, to the position. And Carol also will make a replacement. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Leiden?
after Tom's speech, and it doesn't sound like she's going to be a week short of her 40 years, so I think maybe we should keep her around that extra week. But I don't know, the way Tom talked, I'm not even sure we want to let her go.
Yeah, I know.
Anybody know what car she drives?
No,
Thank you for everything
yeah,
you've done, Terry.
we're very grateful for your dedication and your service. Thanks. All right. Well, we will move on to Virgil Hawkins, our Highway Department engineer.
Well, good morning, Madam Chair and Board of Commissioners. Happy New Year.
Morning. Happy New Year.
Today, there's one highway item for your consideration. It's to approve a resolution of sponsorship for the Rockford School District's Safe Routes to School Infrastructure Grant application. And this is something that they have a Safe Routes to School plan, and there's grant money available right now. And they have a project in mind to install sidewalk in front of the middle school and some retaining wall. They're requesting $110,000, but because they're a school district and the city's under 5,000, they need a sponsor to kind of shepherd it through the state. So we're willing to do that, and there's a resolution of sponsorship for your consideration.
All right.
Madam Chair? I'll make a motion to approve the resolution of sponsorship for Rockford School District and Safe Routes to School.
All right. Motion made by Commissioner Leiden. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wetter. Any discussion on this?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Just one thing, that this is a great program, and I'm glad that we're able to be part of it and help out the school districts.
Yes, it sure is. Thank you.
Yes,
Very welcome.
thank you.
All right. Hearing no more discussion, roll call vote. Commissioner Pitchmark.
Aye.
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 All right, resolution passes 4-0.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thanks, Virgil.
Thanks, Virgil.
Thank you.
Mr. Gregory Picard.
Clear the room like you can, Virgil.
Good morning, Madam Chair and the board. I come before you today to accept another donation from the Chapter 37 Auxiliary, DAV Auxiliary out of Hutchinson. Their generous gift of $300, so this is the third one I think we've gotten from them over the years. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. Helps our programs and,
Yes, ma'am.
sure.
Yep, we use it for, like I put in the package, we use it for where the the federal and state benefits. The veteran doesn't qualify or family member doesn't qualify. The nice thing about this is we can use it for veterans or veterans' family members too. A lot of the other programs, a lot of it's just the veteran. So this is a good opportunity if a family member needs something that we can't find another source for.
Yeah, very nice.
I'll make a motion to accept the donation of $300 from Disabled American DAV Chapter 37 Auxiliary from Hutchinson, Minnesota.
I'll
Right.
second.
Motion made by Commissioner Glyden, seconded by Commissioner Ketchmark. Discussion?
Madam Chair.
Yes. Commissioner Harder.
Got a question. You send a thank you. Who, do you send it or does,
No, that's a draft letter that the last ones, the board chair has signed them
Okay.
to go back to the Hutchinson DAV Auxiliary or the Hutchinson DAV, who's the other one we get donations from.
Okay,
It usually
just-
comes from you back to them, not from
okay,
me.
just curious.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, good question. All right.
Thank you.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, we'll start with Commissioner Wetter for a roll call vote.
Aye.
Commissioner Ketchmark?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Resolution passes.
Thank you, Board.
Thanks, Greg. All right. So we have pulled item D, and we will move on to items for consideration. Administration, broadband committee meeting. Is that just the committee, not a committee of the whole?
Correct, just the
Commissioner
broadband
Kelly?
committee. And we do have some suggested dates that have been put on here for either Tuesday, the 11th at 1 or at 10:30 on the 12th. I don't know if there's a preference amongst the group there.
Glyden?
I'd prefer the Wednesday. Do we have any other, we don't have any other committees scheduled for that day yet, I don't think, do we? Or is there one?
For the 12th, we have a personnel committee item that morning at 9 a.m.
Okay.
That might be a good day then for you too,
Yeah,
if you're,
yeah, I have too many other commitments on Tuesday, the 11th.
so Commissioner
At this-
Vetch isn't here, but you can,
Yeah.
if there's some, we need to make some changes, we can.
Yep. I'll make a motion to schedule a broadband committee meeting for Wednesday, January 12th.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Glyden, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Ketchmark, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. And next is the topics for discussion.
Madam Chair?
Yes,
No, actually,
I missed something?
we have the committee of the whole, unless I'm looking at it wrong one or something.
As
Oh, I have
item
an
for-
earlier
Topics for
one.
discussion.
Pardon?
Okay, never mind.
No? Okay.
Yeah, mine, I must have
Read it
mine
wrong.
is different, it doesn't show that one.
So, oh, okay. Oh, I know what you mean. All right, so,
And my agenda doesn't show that.
topic for discussion at the January 11th workshop.
Yes, thank you,
Commissioner
Madam
Kelly.
Chair. We're continuing to monitor, of course, the progression of the OSHA testing standard. I don't have a specific topic or comment on that at this point, other than we're continuing to work at the staff level. I'm thinking it might be good just to put it on the workshop for an update at this time. And additionally, we had adopted the extended sick leave policy around COVID, which is set to expire at the end of the month. It might be good just to have a discussion about that, either yay or nay. I will also need to schedule meetings as necessary, noting that we will have to schedule a dental clinic steering committee meeting at that point. Those are the items I had listed. If there are others, we can add those.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Wetter?
I was wondering if we could have an update on that statue that was supposed to be
Oh.
made, and then also an update on what the fire, how, or whatever, they were gonna build a
The-
fire
training.
building.
Center?
Training
out
building
there.
out
So
there.
updates on.
On
you're
those
talking
two
about the-
things.
You're talking about the Alina statue?
Yes,
Okay, and the The training
the
facility, I
training,
think,
the
yeah.
fire training deal, if that would be possible.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Deline?
wasn't there some policies at one point that we were gonna start looking at? Maybe that would be a good time to look at a couple of those at the workshop meeting. I don't have any in particular, but I thought there was a couple that we were talking about maybe looking at or just understanding them better, maybe. Anybody else recall some of the discussions we had with some of the different policies or something? And I can't remember what it was, but I remember it coming up at one meeting.
Well, I guess a few comments to that. A few things that I had on my agenda for bringing up with the coming year. As I know, some county boards have adopted a policy around agenda items, if you will. We've kind of informally had the standard that if it's related to a political party or a special thing, we don't necessarily entertain it. That was one thing I'd talked about at one point in bringing back. We did have some discussion at high level at the retreat about some of the items that we touched on last year now, around 300 and 400. I don't know if that was kind of what you were thinking of.
Personnel things?
That could be. I just know that there were some discussions or questions that came up at one meeting, and my memory quit working.
Well, maybe we'll circle back after this meeting. If we can think of those, then we'll add them, but otherwise, maybe hold off until we get those identified. That's okay.
Yeah, Commissioner
So,
Ketchmark?
related to the pandemic rules and safety and all that, the county attorney had said that he would have an attorney keep up with the litigation and court cases and all that. Could you ask that they give us an update as part of that in the workshop also? He had an attorney, Bowen, that was gonna be keeping track of that.
Commissioner, can I ask what you're talking about?
Well, there was a leadership meeting here when administration was trying to urge us to address testing and such on the COVID.
Yes.
And there was interest in tasking somebody with doing something, and I suggested that we have the county attorney's office keep up with current litigation, court cases, legal battles, all those things. And the county attorney Lutz said, we have just the Attorney Bowen that will look into that.
Yes. I can tell the board it's currently going to be argued at the United States Supreme Court on the 7th. I think the message from them was a decision would come out shortly, so maybe we'll have something by next Tuesday to tell you.
Thank you.
If not, so.
That
I
is
hadn't
my
heard
hope.
anything.
Be determined.
Okay.
We'll find out. So
right.
those 9 do what they want to do. So
Thank you. All right. So we have some guidance. We have a number of items, but a lot of them probably are kind of pretty short items for discussion. Anybody else have anything? All right. If not, we will move on to committee minutes, and Commissioner Ketchmark, if I can spring this one on you.
Yes, Madam Chair. So the board met on December 28th regarding planning and zoning department staffing. The new planning and zoning administrator, Barry Reinberger, was here. He's not here right now, but we've got lengthy minutes from that meeting where we talked about some possibilities for staffing going forward in his department. He suggested that more on-site supervision was needed at the compost and recycling center. He mentioned that there's the operational study that's going to be looking at the buildings and the programs that we operate out there. He mentioned that he's got 11 candidates for the vacant environmental position. He spoke about the number of septic systems that are inspected each year, 300 to 400, and recently they took on the cities of Albertville and Hanover to provide those services. He mentioned that several of his staff are cross-trained because of the size of the department so that they can do more than one duty over there if need be. They're going to look at reassessing the use of SCORE funds, specifically regarding wages in that department. He spoke on justifying the office manager position to the board. He spoke on maintaining the current organizational chart as it stands until after the Stantec study is completed, and wanting to get that EHS position filled as soon as possible. Attorney Kreiser spoke that he believes the MPCA understands that the county is in a transition regarding this area, and they'll be understanding if we're a little bit delayed in getting everything in order out there. Public Health spoke that they have a stake in the environmental service at Wright County. They want to be kept in the loop. They provide money for a position that we currently don't have filled, so they're hanging on to that as they should. Recommendation was to table the discussion until more information is made available about the potential use of the SCORE funds, and interviews have taken place for the environmental health supervisor job opening, with the potential of hiring 2 people if a pair of qualified candidates emerge from the interviews. So with that, I'll make a motion to approve those minutes with that recommendation.
All right.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Commissioner Ketchmark to approve the minutes and the recommendation, seconded by Commissioner Glyden. Discussion?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Glyden.
I don't know, maybe we, for the workshop, we can have kind of a update at that point of what he's found out so far, interviews and
Okay,
Yeah.
when he's planning on interviewing, all that sort of good stuff.
sounds good.
And anything he's found out, since we've met last. It'll be 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's enough to get it all figured
Oh, yeah.
out.
We do things very quickly around here. All right. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. No opposed? So that carries. Advisory Committee, Advisory Board updates. Anyone have anything?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I have, the evening of December 28th, we had a SWCD meeting, and they signed the agreement with the county to continue with the payroll services. They dedicated vehicle funding, and now they've created also a dedicated building fund. They discussed their convention takeaways because they had their convention the week, kind of the same days after, the week after our convention at the same hotel and all, so. Then they approved a lot of the North Fork Crow River Water-based implementation fund contract payments, and that's a long term, which they put in abbreviation, but there were a lot of end of the year type things that they addressed and sent out the funding for those. And then also cover crop payments. So those got sent out to the farmers also. And that's all I have to say.
All right. Administrator Kelly, we'll kind of move around this way.
Okay, very well. A few things I wanted to share with the board: that we were notified by Health Partners that they are going to grant us $35,000, $10,000 to support initiatives to eliminate health disparities, and $25,000 to support the new dental clinic. So I was very happy to see that. Just a reminder, we'll have our quarterly leadership meeting next Tuesday following the workshop. And lastly, I did want to send out our sympathies and condolences to the family of Brian Hilden, an IT tech person who was with the county for several years that passed away on the 31st of December. So.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we're all pretty sad. All right. That it, Mr. Kelly?
Yep.
Yep, okay. Mr.
Thank you,
Ketchmark.
Madam Chair. One meeting I had was the Fair Board met, and they're working the biggest act. They're trying to confirm for the fair is the circus to come back.
Oh,
So they're hoping to get that back. They got their convention for county fairs is gonna be coming up in the cities. That would be an interesting event to go to.
Yeah.
I'm a non-voting member, so I'm not allowed to go, but,
you're not allowed to go, huh?
well, they'll, report back when they get done there. But I'm sure there's a lot of ideas as we see at our AMC also with, the different breakout conversations that they have. But I did get an interested applicant for the opening in the extension office in District 5, so I'll be going through that process with him and hopefully get that spot filled here soon.
Good.
That's all I have.
You're Leiden.
I didn't have any committee meetings last week. The only thing is, actually, I would like to get an update on at the board workshop next week on the Tyler software.
Oh.
Because I have it on my calendar that it was supposed to be up and running on the 31st, which I doubt that was the case because we weren't open on the 31st. But I'd like to get a status on how that's going and positives, negatives, reviews that the assessor's office has.
Okay.
Well, I was just gonna ask you what that pertained to, which department?
Yeah, it's the assessor's office.
Assessors,
Yeah,
okay.
it's the new CAMA system,
Okay, oh, okay,
mass appraisal.
okay,
So,
thank you.
We didn't have a whole lot of choice. We had to switch because the other one was at end of life.
Oh,
So, and everything that I'd heard that there's a lot of other counties that have gone to it, so. Looking forward to hearing how the transition is going. Last I heard, I think they were running them side by side, so curious.
Thank you. Is that anything else? All right, well, anyone that hasn't gone to the Festival of Trees out at the Historical Society, get out at the History Center. I mean, it's pretty awesome. Like I've said before, there's 85 trees, not all of them, there's some that aren't lit, but competitions, the Sheriff's Office has a tree, 4 commissioners have trees to vote on, and they are open until 8 o'clock on Tuesday evening, and, but this will be, it goes through Friday, so you still have a chance to get out there. And finishing up interviews for the Safe Communities of Wright County Executive Director this week, so we'll hopefully have a decision and have someone in place for be at our meeting next Friday, so.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
One other thing is regarding the Township Officers Meeting,
Oh, yes.
which is on this Thursday.
yes.
So,
At
yeah,
Corona.
make sure that
At
it's
Corona
noted
Township.
that we will be there, or we're authorized to be there. Thank you for mentioning that. All right. Is there anything else that needs to come before the board? Hearing none, if not, we're adjourned at 9:49.